That time I just managed to get only 4 countries: Malaysia, Thailand, Bangladesh, India and Pakistan. In 2003, I came back again doing the second mission. At that time, government giving me the permission to use plate number Jalur Gemilang 2. Nama saya Syamsul Rijal bin Abdul Jamil. I drove this Proton Satria GTI Jalur Gemilang 2. The reason that I choose Proton Satria is because it's a performance car. As we know that it's a 1.8 cc. I drove Proton before. My first car was a Proton Cas. It's an export model. It's just a limited edition of Proton Iswara at the time. 1993, I bought that. That was my first car. So in the event that I want to travel with Proton Satria is because one is a performance, one is the appearance, and then the third part is because it's S. S is my name, Syam. So that's why I choose Satria. During the trip, I was 38 years old. So it's about 17 years ago. I drove Proton Satria. At that time, in 2001, the number was Mars 2001. So the meaning of Mars 2001 is a Malaysian Achievement Spirit 2001. So therefore, I tried to get the number. I beat the number. At that time, it happened that in Malacca, they opened up the bid for Mars 2001. So I get the bid. So I put the plate number for the first trip that I had been in 2001. That time I just managed to get only 4 countries: Malaysia, Thailand, Bangladesh, India and Pakistan. At that time it's just a beginning. I just do some trial, and then in 2003 I came back again doing the second mission. At that time, government giving me the permission to use plate number Jalur Gemilang 2. So at that time, the color is different, but the flag was there. The color is blue and red, and then the flag was on the top and the front, boot. And then I traveled for 45 countries, starting in Johor Bahru, and then I so-called finish off in Moscow. That was a 45 countries destination, and then I stopped there. So 3 tahun kenderaan ni di Rusia. Sebab tujuan saya nak sambung je perjalanan, tapi oleh kerana masa tu saya kehilangan anak bongsu saya punya semangat tu terus jatuh. Jadi tersimpan di sana selama 3 tahun. Saya tukar plate number tu sebab saya tak nak nampak kereta ni sebagai kereta yang pergi jelajah dunia. Jadi saya transferkan ke nombor ke kereta perdana saya tu sebab biar dia nampak more prestige. Dan di sini saya tukarkan number, family number lah, 543 tu is a family number. So saya jadikan dia sebagai satu kenangan untuk family. Jadi siapa-siapa yang nak travel lepas ni pun nak buat apa pun saya galakkan. Jadi itu jadinya saya tak nak nampakkan ini sebagai kereta yang pernah jelajah dunia. Jadi kalau kata dengan flag, dengan apa semua, saya tutup semua. Dan saya tinggalkan 2 tu je yang orang boleh recognize kereta ni, just 2 receiver tu. Kalau orang tak kenal, memang orang tak kenal. Kadang-kadang orang nampak tu, apa tu ada benda tertinggal kat atas bumbung ke. Tu yang kadang-kadang orang siap tunjuk-tunjuk atas tu. Oh no, bukan benda tertinggal lah. Sebenarnya memang benda tu melekat. Actually, in the beginning, I used to travel from Kuala Lumpur to Bangkok. That was in 1996, 97. During that time, not many Malaysians are travelling to Bangkok. The most is Hat Yai, Krabi, Phuket. If I have holiday, it's a long holiday, so I spend my time with my family. I used to drive Ford at the time. So in the afternoon from Kuala Lumpur, I will overnight in Alor, and then from Alor shoot to Bangkok, 12 hours during that time. That's why when I travel quite often, it inspires me to travel around the world. So these are the things that is the beginning of the mission, and then I come out in the idea of selling Malaysian abroad. That's why I choose Proton at the time. So it's a Malaysian content, and then we are promoting Malaysia. So this is the whole idea of the Jalur Gemilang tu actually. When I was in Tajikistan, I was stopped by the KGB. So it happened that the KGB stopped me, and then they investigate me all the gadget inside the car, the videos, the computers, and then I was stranded in the Ministry of Home Affairs of Uzbekistan at the time, Uzbekistan, for about 4 years for investigation. So they thought that I'm a spy, but I said I am not a spy. I just entered to the country, promoting Malaysia and promoting their country too, because at that time, Soviet Union is just separated, and then they have the individual countries, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and so ever. So, tourists you cannot see on the road actually. When I came to the country with my car, so it's quite obvious for them because nobody come at that time. It's just after the war over. So, when they stopped and investigate me, for me it's just a normal. I just follow whatever instruction. Then eventually I can prove them that I'm not a spy. I don't do any illegal things in the country. So they release me. Itu pagi itu hujan lebat, jalan licin, kawasan bergunung ganang. Saya terlajak ke tepi jalan dan langgar pengadang jalan. Nasib baik ada pengadang jalan. Kalau tak ada pengadang jalan tu, saya jatuh dalam gaung bawah tu. Tinggi memang kawasan Donji Vakuf ni, kawasan yang bergunung ganang. Kalau kita ingat dulu ada tentera kita bawah panji-panji Pertubuhan Bangsa-Bangsa Bersatu juga mengalami kemalangan di Donji Vakuf. So kawasan tu memang kawasan yang bergunung ganang, tak ada penduduk sangat. Jadi saya terlajak dan dengan bantuan Kedutaan Malaysia di Sarajevo, saya dapat transport untuk bawa kereta saya yang rosak ni, yang kemalangan ni, daripada Donji Vakuf, Bosnia ke Slovenia. So kita kena redah 3 negara actually untuk dapatkan baik pulih semula di Ljubljana, Slovenia. Jadi dengan adanya bantuan daripada Kedutaan Malaysia dan penduduk tempatan Bosnia yang bawa truk tu free, tak charge apa-apa kat saya. Dia bantu saya daripada Donji Vakuf ke Ljubljana, dan bila kita tu sampai pukul 3 pagi di Ljubljana, staf pekerja-pekerja bengkel tu telah sedia menunggu kereta saya, dan kita tolak kereta tu turun ke bengkel yang di Ljubljana tu. Jadi itulah saya rasa macam saya terharu ketika tu, dengan bantuan, dengan tak payah bayar apa-apa. Saya cukup terima kasih. Dan saya masih ingat lagi yang saya sama-sama naik truk menghantar kereta tu daripada Bosnia cross ke Slovenia. So dari situ lebih kurang 1.5 bulan kereta di bengkel, dibaiki, dan saya sambung semula perjalanan. I install the satellite receiver. That was installed by High-Tech Padu collaboration with one Canadian company. They installed for me satellite receiver. So they use Inmarsat C and Inmarsat D for the tracking purposes. So during that time we don't have a gadget, handheld gadget. So we have a computer, put a laptop in the car, and then it's just a straight line whereby it's an indicator showing that where is the direction. There's no detail of the road, there's nothing at all, it's just a straight line. So the reason that they're doing that, during the period of traveling, they do the tracking. So they have a big map of the world, and then they will show where is the car at the time. So these are the so-called IT input in the car. Other than that, it's nothing. I just installed the video camera. I got to assemble, I got to take it out during the traveling. So it's just to record some of the scenery of those countries that I travel. Kalau jalan, the best is in Europe lah. Actually in Italy, it's very nice road. You cross the mountains with the bridges, because in Italy they don't cut mountains, they don't cut trees, so you are above the latitude. It's a toll road actually, but if you go by old road, so it's a winding road, it will take longer. So in Italy, there's the most nicer road from my experience. At first, I traveled for 4 countries. In terms of preparation, I don't have enough preparation on that. I just try my best because for me, if I can travel as far as I can, so that will be the milestone of my achievement. Okay, so therefore I try again in 2003 when the state of government Johor approached me. So they request me to continue my journey. Therefore, they support me, and with the support, I do my second journey. So therefore, I started in Johor Bahru. That time I was flagged off by the previous Menteri Besar. First country was Singapore at that time. And then from Singapore, I come back to Kuala Lumpur, ship my car via Port Klang. The reason why, because during that period in 2001, 2003, Myanmar government did not allow any foreigner to come to their country by road. So therefore, I got to ship my car from Port Klang to Bangladesh. So that's the reason why. This was during my first trip. In 2001, I have an experience when I entered to Myanmar, Thailand border. So the government of Myanmar stopped me, the army stopped me, so they don't allow me to enter the country by road. So that's why the second journey, I shipped my car from Port Klang to Chittagong, Bangladesh. During yang previous 2 journey itu memang tak ada anybody, I alone, solo driving. Semua sekali I do it myself. Taking pictures, taking videos. Semua, even I'm not a journalist or whatever, I start do writing. I have column dalam newspaper weekly. So they give a deadline every Friday before 2 p.m. Malaysian time. I got to give all the information. So the writing, everything. So that's why during the trip, okay, sebelum tidur, okay, tulis dulu, put in the computer, okay, and then Jumaat, kalau Malaysian time before 2, meaning that other country early in the morning, kan. So I got to prepare everything and then release to new center here. Even car repair on minor work also I have to do myself. Only major then I got to go to the workshop because most of the car inside I brought the spare parts, drive shaft, everything inside the car. So my clothes is just okay. During the summer, I changed to summer clothes. Winter clothes. So yang lain tu hantar balik ya. I have a plan to go for the third one. Okay, I think third one will be end of my life because I'm now is 55 years old. So I plan for more countries actually. I already pursue Proton during the launch of X70. So I want to go for 138 countries. So that's my plan actually. It's to break the world record because now the record in 2000 held by American 101 country. He went for 101 country, still intact. So that's why I have an intention that to bring in Malaysian flag name for the more countries because when I wrote to GWR before, the requirement is okay, it must be a continuous journey, it must be a single trip, it can be solo or duo, no problem, but it must be a single trip meaning that a continuous trip. So that's why I intend to go for 138 countries so that to break the world record. That's my intention. So I hope that it can be a dream come true for me before end of my life.